When we initially came, we didn't have degrees. This is actually, in a lot of cases, gonna get you a job easier than actually having a degree. People try to portray it online, guys, is that you need like a degree from Harvard to teach in a public school in Saigon. For example, there might be 3 words on a page, guys. Like literally, you have to make 3 words last for a 35-minute period. There is a demand at every level, at every price point. You got guys from freaking Pakistan with teaching jobs in provincial cities. Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy, the greatest educator to ever exist. Today we are gonna take on the ultimate topic that I know has been itching at your brain forever. Do you actually need a degree to teach in Vietnam? I'm gonna try to cover it from a lot of different angles, and I hope it helps you guys out with whatever decisions you're trying to make, whether it's coming to Vietnam for the first time or coming here during the pandemic or planning to come here in the future. We'll try to get it all concise and in a little box for you. Hey, what's going on guys? So those of you who have known me for a long time and have been watching the videos, you already watched how we showed up here not knowing anything, and everything that we came to believe about Vietnam was through experience. It was just through a series of events happening. So when we initially came, we didn't have degrees. I have a degree now. I got it finished while I've been living here. I didn't even want to teach, guys. I was getting pressured left and right. Like everybody I was meeting was trying to get me to teach. I would go on some interview and they would tell me how I'm this amazing teacher. And I just started to realize, like, over time, it has far more to do with whether or not people like you than whether or not you're qualified. Really, teaching English over here is going to be more like a popularity contest. If you're better looking, if you're younger, if you're from a country that they value, this is actually, in a lot of cases, going to get you a job easier than actually having a degree. We'll talk about a little bit more about that in the next clip. Brush your teeth. Hey, what's going on guys? So like I was saying in the previous clip, guys, like I kind of got like pressured into teaching. Like I resisted it in the beginning, but you know, it came down to the fact that like it allowed me to live here. I never thought of it as really something that I loved doing. I did primarily public schools, but I did some private centers, some very high-end ones and some small ones. And it was always a good way to kind of make an income and to keep yourself afloat. But it's hardly this glamorous, crazy job. And like the way people try to portray it online, guys, is that you need like a degree from Harvard to teach in a public school in Saigon. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Like if we're just talking about skills and not like the legal aspects of it, but just the skills needed, I would say the person who would be the most successful doing this would be somebody who has a lot of experience with children, especially lots of children, because in any given public school, you're gonna have 50, 60 screaming kids fighting. Now try to imagine 50, 60 grade 1. Nobody knows what you're saying. Nobody speaks English. The TA may not speak English. She may speak English. She might not give a shit. She could fucking hate you because you make more money, and you know, she just, you know, hates the kids or hates her life. I mean, all kinds of shit happens with these type of jobs. So it's hardly this glamorous, like you need to have a degree in fucking education. Really, the most qualified person I would say would be somebody who's just very patient and doesn't take things too personally. Because like, you know, you're mandated a government curriculum. There's a book called Family and Friends, and you can only read 1 page of the book. So in grade 1, for example, there might be 3 words on a page, guys. Like literally, you have to make 3 words last for a 35-minute period. Like tell me how your degree in gender studies is gonna improve your ability to fucking do that. Like the reason why I was always able to do it is I would just think about something else. I'd smile, let the kids have fun. You know, it's whatever. I didn't take things very personally. I wouldn't yell, I wouldn't scream. If it was chaos, I'd just sit down, I don't do nothing. You know, I put my earplugs in, I get on my phone and I text. If they want to listen, I read the government mandated page. You know, I don't see how a degree, like I just finished a degree and it really didn't help me in any, it didn't like make the job easier or better. Now, if you're trying to actually work as like a math teacher or a science teacher, or you're trying to work in like a top tier international school, okay, well that's a whole different kind of conversation. But the way people try to portray it online is that like, oh, you're so unqualified if you want to teach in Vietnam and you don't have a degree. Guys, the size of the market in this country can't be quantified in words. There is a demand at every level, at every price point. You got guys from freaking Pakistan with teaching jobs in provincial cities. That's the demand. They will take and hire anybody. It's just you might not always get the spot you want, the situation you want, but the availability of market, it exists. So how in the world would they be able to address a market that's already insatiable if they had really crazy strict requirements and then they actually enforce them in a real sense, and like as if there's some sort of purge to just get the lazy white monkeys with no degrees out of the country, as if Vietnam doesn't have like bigger national priorities. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a second. Brush your teeth.
So Jay, what people want to know is, how do I get a job? How do I guarantee get a job if I don't have a degree? What would you say to that? How am I going to risk coming to Vietnam with no degree, and what kind of work would I get?
What's going on? Well, if we're talking about you're a white guy between the ages of 18 and 50. You got a US passport. Like, you're gonna, like, the idea, are you gonna get a job? It's like, are you gonna breathe in the next 2 minutes? Like, you know, if I run into a wall, is it gonna hurt? Like, of course you're gonna get a job. What are you kidding me? Like, they pay top dollar for a guy with a US passport, especially if you're young and you're semi-decent looking. If you're big, forget about it. You know, and if you happen to also have a degree. But if you don't, it doesn't matter, because there's a place in the market for a guy like you. There's a place in the market for a lot of people. It's just, unfortunately, the Vietnamese don't have the same concept of political correctness that exists in the West. So sometimes they'll base things on very superficial things like race or gender or age, and it just is what it is. But even if you are at a disadvantage, like say, you know, you're not a white guy, say you don't have a degree, but you still have a G7 passport, they're still gonna be able to get a job, and you're gonna find a place, because the market is so big that there's gonna be a slot that you fit into somewhere, right? Even if you're from, like, you know, Pakistan, and you know, you're gonna wanna have credentials if you're coming from, you know, Pakistan, Middle East, Sub-Saharan Africa. You're gonna wanna have credentials, and even then, like at the moment, it's very expensive and dangerous to come into the country, because there's a very good chance you'll spend a lot of money. They won't renew a visa once you're here. You're gonna need to get a job very quickly. So if you're in that situation, then I would suggest having all your documents completely. It's not a joke. If you're coming from a country the Vietnamese don't value. But if you're coming from a G7 country, even if you don't speak English well and you're like Bulgarian but you're white, I mean, you're gonna get a good job, and it's not gonna be that hard. You're not gonna probably be working for the top international school in the city, but you're gonna either be in a language center, a public school, kindergartens will use you, because you guys gotta remember, most of the time, they have a plan of what they want you to do. Some places will make you lesson plan in the more corporate-y places, but generally speaking, it's white monkey. You're gonna stand there, you're gonna clap and smile for the kids, everybody's having a good time, the white monkey's here, he dances for a while, and then he fucks off and dances for the next group of kids. And I know that a lot of people don't want to hear that, because they think that they're the greatest fucking thing in the world because they landed a TEFL job in a developing country. But it's the reality of a lot of the industry, man, and I'll tell you guys a story about that in the next clip. What's going on, guys? So as I was saying in the last clip, I'm going to tell you the story of when I really fully understood what the game was out here. So I was working for this company, I'm not going to say no names, but basically what had happened was I told them White Monkey doesn't wake up in the morning. White Monkey only does afternoons. White Monkey doesn't get up at 7 a.m. and teach her anybody Englishes. So we understood each other, we agreed, it's all good. I moved ahead working with them. And then randomly they asked me, they're like, you gotta go to a meeting with the parents and some local officials at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, listen man, White Monkey already told you that he doesn't wake up in the morning, right? So they kept being insistent on it. So finally I found out what it was. And now guys, this is just a regular public school. We're doing throw the sticky ball, you know, we're saying the words out of the book, you know, it's the same, you know, as every other place. But for this little demonstration, they brought in the projectors and all the computer stuff, and they, you know, they were gonna make it look like, this company was gonna make it look like this is how the children are being taught, which is like pretty freaking far from the truth. I'm sure they're charging them like that, but that's not how they're teaching them. So I told them, listen, I'll consider doing it if you do everything. You plan it, you choreograph it, and I'm just gonna stand there and be like the presenter. That's what I'm gonna do, right? And they agreed, because again, it's all about fucking optics. Like, it has nothing to do with education. It's about making money. So they want to go and they want to show off to the school where this big shot education thing, even though we're reading out of the family and friends, duck, duck, duck half the fucking time. So they put on the big show, they get everything organized. I go to like 2 rehearsals to see this thing, they want it to look perfect, and I'm walking around and da-da-da-da. And then finally I was like, you know what, fuck these people, bro. And I made them plan everything, and I just didn't fucking go. Did I get fired? Nah, because I'm worth money, because I'm a fucking white guy with a US passport. So they didn't fucking fire me, they just put me in a different public school. Because if they got rid of me, then somebody else would fucking sweep me right up and make money with me. Because the Vietnamese are very industrious people. If you give them a way to make money, they're gonna make money. I mean, there's no like, you know, in the West, like, it's different. People here are very focused on doing business. And that's one of the things that's wonderful about Vietnam, is there's just blossoming opportunities. People are so down to engage with new ideas. And you are a product. And if they can flip you and make some money on you, they're gonna, even if you're an asshole. So you gotta understand that. And I'm not advocating that you abuse motherfuckers. Like, I didn't like this company. I had my reasons why I kind of did them a little bit dirty. They're not really good people, but you know, it just gives you an example. This is actually how the game is. Like, these guys who come in there, and I've seen them run out of public schools crying. I used to teach at a university. I'm like, well, it didn't really prepare you for 60 fucking screaming grade 2 kids. This one's stabbing that one, this one's crying. TA got a megaphone, she's walking around smacking kids. I mean, it's just like, what am I supposed to do? If I had a degree in philosophy, that's gonna prepare me for the army of screaming children's? I don't know. Brush your teeth.
Question we've been getting is, what happens, what's the worst case scenario? Let's say I get here with no degree and I get caught. What happens?
Yo, what's up, bro? So, all right, like, let's be honest about it. Like, any company that wants to use you here, guys, if they can't sort out your documents and get you legal, you don't want to do business with them. Because I've even worked for ladies that had like a tiny office at the back of a public school, and she was still able to sort out all my documents. If a company here really wants to use you guys, they can get you legal. They have ways that, I'm not gonna say how they do it, but they can do it and they can sort it out. It's gonna probably cost you a little bit of money, but you'll get all your documents. 90% of the companies here that you would want to work for, whether it be in a public school or a center, if you're going to do 20 hours a week for them, they should be able to get you your documents. If they can't get you your documents, that's already a red flag. So whether you have a degree, you don't have a degree, like I'm saying, they can sort it out. And if they're saying they can't sort it out, well, that's kind of not people you want to work for. Because if they can't even do something simple like get you a work permit, like, you know, obviously that's a bad sign. Again, for those of you who never been to Vietnam, you don't understand the scale of this industry. There is like people running language centers out of the bottom floor of their houses. There is language centers that are in the top of luxury apartment buildings. There is thousands of different private and public and international. I mean, it's just, the scale is ginormous. And this is a country where who you know is far more important than what you know. And I know a lot of you would like to believe that your bachelor's degree from, I don't know, wherever, some, you know, 4-year school in America or Canada or wherever the hell you're from, this is the great accomplishment of your life. it really doesn't matter that much in terms of getting your stuff done over here, guys. Who you know, how well your company is connected, and obviously can you afford to pay whatever fees are involved if you don't have certain documents. Now, if you don't have a degree, there's gonna be a cost. And most of the time your school will pay that cost and they'll deduct it out of your salary over a few months. So let me give an example. Say you don't have a work permit, say you don't have a background check, say you don't have a health check. Before COVID, it was $700 to $1,000 fee to cover you not having those documents. Your company organizes it, they put it up 90% of the time, and either they pay some of it with you or they deduct it out of your salary over agreed upon amount of time, right? So it gets worked out, and you're legal. You know, we have Vietnamese bank accounts. It's not, I'm telling you guys, you're superimposing a Western corporate perception of the world onto a country where the frame of mind is so different. Like, you guys couldn't be coming from different worlds. Now, I'm not saying there is corporate jobs here. There is places where you're gonna need to have every single thing stamped and filed perfectly. But I mean, for me, one of the reasons I like living in Vietnam is I have no interest in the corporate world. I like the fact that my job is a little dysfunctional. The teacher thing was nuts. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. I don't think everybody could do it, but it got me to a point in my life where I could develop my own business. It allowed me to live here. It allowed me to build relationships. I mean, everything I have, I owe to teacher. I mean, you know, and if you've got the patience and you can handle the heat and the kids and the craziness, whether you have a degree or you don't have a degree, it's a worthwhile investment in your time because it'll allow you to be in Vietnam. It'll allow you to make an income. You can sometimes make a little bit of a difference. Like every once in a while, I did feel like some heart tugging stuff, you know? A lot of times it was more frustration and I just had to chill and remind myself that this is for a goal. But you know, like how many places in the world can you come and can you do a little bit of like some side work and have enough to live a comfortable life and eventually establish something for yourself? And that's what I think the TEFL thing is. It's a jump off. The guys you see on these forums, you know, you need a degree, oh, you misspelt the word. You know, these are the fucking losers who ended up getting stuck out here because they never had a plan beyond TEFL teaching. For them, this is the height of their ambition. They got a better looking girlfriend than in their country. They're being treated better than they would be at their fucking McDonald's job, wherever they come from. Half of them are just drunk slobs. And then you got people who are out here doing cool shit. They're innovating, they're coming up with their own ideas, they're opening restaurants, and the teacher can be bridging that gap. So the way I've always looked at it is I don't feel the need to lie or misrepresent anything to anybody because it's not the right situation for everybody. It was a good situation for me. Coming here, you know, being here has been a really positive thing in my life. Maybe it will be a positive thing in your life. It's your journey, bro. I can't tell you, you know? I'm just gonna try to give you a real picture, and if you wanna work with somebody who isn't gonna fucking dress it all up, then maybe I'm the guy you wanna talk to. What's up, guys? So we are back at the crib. I had to run some errands. I thought it was a good day to shoot a little discussion on teaching without a degree. So guys, if you're gonna be working in like Saigon or one of the major cities like Hanoi, like I said, there's always gonna be a way for somebody to sort out your documents no matter what you have. Again, there might come some time in the future where that becomes impossible or really difficult, but I think it's a pretty far ways off from right now. So don't stress too much. If the one places where you might actually have some troubles would be like working in like small provincial cities, places where the center that you're working for may be very closely connected to local authorities. But if you're in Saigon or if you're in one of the major cities, you know, they'll be able to sort you out. Even in those smaller provincial areas, they should be able to sort you out even if you don't have a degree. I would say probably avoid places like Halong City, you know, wealthy but small municipalities, where you might stick out as one of the only foreigners around. That's something I would probably try to avoid, where you could actually potentially encounter some real trouble. Here in Saigon, if you're from a G7 country and you're a native speaker and you don't have a degree, you're gonna get a job. Like I said before, the more qualified person is probably somebody who's just patient and good with kids, because nothing prepares you for what teaching in a public school or in some of the grimy, crazy language centers, because there are some grimy ones, guys. Nothing really prepares you for that. Just try to be patient, not take it too personally, you know, and have an end goal, so you don't end up like one of these bitter fucks on some, you know, ESL forum abusing some kid for asking a question. So we're gonna wrap it up. We'll go for a little bit of a stroll through the park by the crib. Yeah, guys, listen. It's a developing country. It's not Japan, it's not Korea. There's some things that you're gonna find very, very challenging, and there's some things that you're gonna find that are amazing and that you're gonna really love. For me, Vietnam is the best. It's served more than I could ever ask from it. So I will always be loyal to Vietnam, and I always have loyalty for Vietnam. And I don't care if some things are messed up. That's, you know, no place is perfect. That's just life. And for me, I can swim in these waters. For certain personalities, they can't, you know? It's too unstable, it's too unpredictable, things are changing constantly. They can't get used to the work ethic or the business ethic. It's very different than what they're used to and where they come from. So, I mean, again, there's no right answer for anybody in life. You know, there's only what works for you as an individual. So for me, Vietnam is a good place. It's always been good to me. I've made a good amount of money here. I've had a good life. But again, I didn't get stuck TEFL teaching. I had a goal in mind. I built something for myself. I saw a space in the market and I created it. And, you know, maybe that's what you need to do if you want to actually be happy out here. And, you know, maybe teaching is a good thing to get you to that goal, you know, to get you to the lifestyle that you want to live. And, you know, maybe teaching is your long-term thing. And if it is your long-term thing, maybe you do want to get a degree. Why not specialize? Why not improve yourself? You're just going to get more options. And that's the thing that's so funny about these losers on these expat pages, guys, is if you really are that qualified, some unqualified guy with no degree is no threat to you. He's not going to be applying to the same type of institutions that you're going to get hired at. It's all about their own personal insecurity. Most of them themselves are probably fucking loser TEFL teachers who never did shit with their lives. And now they project onto others and troll. And it's actually quite sad because, you know, the reality of the game is that you can make money here and you don't gotta shit on people. You can still do things the right way. There's a lot of fucking opportunity, and you don't necessarily have to be, you know, highly educated. And I gotta be honest, guys, when it comes to education, a lot of that shit is more of an indicator of class than it is of intelligence. I mean, in countries in Europe and stuff where education is free, that's a different conversation. But in places like the States, where it's an absurdly expensive system and it's just absolutely difficult for people who are coming from working class or poor backgrounds or modest means, you know, that doesn't mean that you're not capable and smart. So if you got to come to a place like Vietnam and you got to suck it up TEFL teaching in order to create something for yourself, I think that, you know, you know, there might be some risk involved. You might have a chance that you could get on a blacklist or have to pay money or get in trouble. But man, ain't nobody gonna throw you in fucking prison, and you have a good opportunity to maybe create something really positive for your life. I think it's a gamble worth taking. But again, I'm not in everybody else's shoes, you know? We're coming up on 4 years out here now. Saigon has been good to me. Teaching has been good to me. I don't have any regrets. Probably the biggest thing I would say is having an exit strategy. It's not the most glamorous job, and that's partly what makes it so funny that these guys, oh, you're a shitty teacher because you don't have a degree. It's like, bro, if they literally took only people here who had degrees, the industry would fold, because there's already not enough people to meet demand. It's a little bit better than what it was in the beginning for them. Now they have more access to foreigners. But if you think that the industry is like full up and there's no jobs, you're tripping. You know, that's why it's so funny about these TEFL guys, is they'll be like, oh, give me $2,000 or $3,000 for a TEFL. Oh, Sinlochi. And they will, you know, they'll, oh, we'll get you a job. Yeah, no problem. Bro, I could get a fucking ham sandwich a job. So it's kind of like, you know, the hardest thing is just finding people you want to work for that aren't going to take advantage of you, that'll pay you on time. But a job, just like any kind of job, like, you know, I always say, bro, I could get a ham sandwich a job as long as the bread is white. And I'm not even kidding. It's like fucking, you know. And guys, the TEFL industry isn't even regulated. It's like there's no governing bodies that oversee these organizations. Like, so you got to understand, like, you know, like what the game is. How are you going to be successful? How are you going to play Monopoly if you don't know the rules, you know? And I hate to say it, but that's the truth with any industry. And the teacher industry is not really any different. So you can forget all this corporate shit. Like, if you want to seek that out, there's places that you can find that. But if you just want to come out here and do something for yourself, this is a great place to be. It's a little expensive to get into the country right now. Nobody knows when and if it's going to start opening. Nobody knows what's up with this COVID thing. I mean, it's all kind of like we all got to kind of wait and see. But if you're thinking about coming here, man, like, I think it's a good place. And I think, you know, Vietnam is what you make of it. It'll either make you or break you. And I kind of like it that way, because I wouldn't want it to be too easy. Because if it's too fucking easy, I mean, then any asshole could come here and fucking do it. And you know, any asshole can come here and get a TEFL job. I mean, there's no fucking question about that. There's a lot of fucking bar stools full of drunk fucking losers that are able to get by here by TEFL teaching. But, you know, if it was super easy, you know, to climb above that, the whole world would be doing it. And you know, a certain type of person, you gotta have a certain type of mentality to be successful in Vietnam. And you know, for me, this worked really well. But I'm not trying to force Vietnam to be something that it's not. I'm not trying to change it. Because if you try to change the situation, the teacher thing, you try to turn it into something it isn't, man, it's you that is gonna break, not Vietnam, I promise you. Like these guys who are like all hung up, oh, I'm a real teacher and blah, 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 and they're yelling at the kids and they're getting mad and they got high blood pressure, and you know, you're just like punching a solid brick wall, bro. Like, ain't nothing is gonna change, and it ain't gonna be you that changes it if it does. So, you know, just be glad that they have a use for you. Be thankful you can live in a beautiful country like this and have opportunity, and just shut your mouth and stop trying to fucking fix everything, and you'll probably do pretty good out here. You know, just be a good guest, and you know, if they have a use for you, let them use you for that purpose. Don't try to like, oh, I'm a fucking big shot from blah, blah, blah. Nobody fucking cares, man, you know? I'm just thankful they have a use for me, and if I could fill a role, I'm not in any place to ask no questions. So you don't need a fucking degree, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. Appearances sadly do mean a lot. How you look, your age, physical fitness, this stuff can really affect getting a job. So, you know, again, it's not gonna be a deal breaker, but it can limit you. So, you know, you gotta flip your mentality, guys. This is, you know, if you're coming from the West, this is not what you're used to. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. Subscribe, share. If you think about coming to Vietnam, you want help getting into the country, holler at us. Peace.
Brush your face and wash your teeth, son.
Hey, what's up? I'm D from Canada. Hook up with the New York Nomad if you want a smooth ride into Vietnam or any Southeast Asian countries.
Hey, my name is Aaron. Get in contact with the New York Nomads. If you want to get into Vietnam, hit them up. They'll get you in securely and professionally.
Yo, this is Uncle Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, the New York Nomad got me a job. He's legit. Hit him up. Check him out.
New York Nomad set me up in Vietnam.
Yo, my man got me a job. Come to Vietnam.
Hey, what's up, guys? You thinking about coming to Vietnam? You're not sure where to start. You've heard a lot of things online. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's not. We offer a consulting service where we help you get on your feet in Vietnam. We give you advice on negotiating contracts with employers. We help you with real estate agents, visa agents that are reliable and that you can trust. We help you get started in this amazing country and get on your feet. We help you get into different opportunities that might be more difficult for you if you were just landing in the country on your own. And we help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and problems that you could have as a newcomer here. We provide you with reliable job recruiters, visa agents, real estate agents, and advice. If you guys are thinking about coming to Vietnam, hit us up for a consultation. We'll help you get started, help you get on your feet, and hopefully you'll love Vietnam as much as we do.